What's up, everybody? It's the Chino Brothers, and it's time for your midday getaway.
If you hate Jake Paul as much as I hate Jake Paul, then you won't even mind getting fired if you watch this video during work.
Yes.
Hadley, what's the news, baby?
Oh, this is crazy, man. Speaking of Jake Paul, he hits back at Pete Davidson's boxing roast in that previous SNL skit. Now, Pete Davidson's being chastised by YouTube sensation Jake Paul after he was depicted by the comedian in a Saturday Night Live skit for the butt of a joke. Now, Jake Paul is one of the most well-known YouTube personalities right now, owing to his boxing endeavors too. The social media star has opted to move away from online entertainment and into the world of combat sports, where he has discovered unexpected success. Now, Paul has a 4-0 professional record. Look, he's defeated former NBA player Nate Robinson.
Yes, exactly.
Saw that.
So he beat a YouTuber, he beat a basketball player, he beat a very old wrestler, and then he beat a decent striker, but still not a boxer.
Pete Davidson played a snooty Jake Paul, who in a bogus interview, quote, announced his next opponent as Muhammad Ali. And he added, quote, "If I win, you have to change your name back to Cassius Clay." Now, Pete Davidson, I'm going to say that's pretty funny. Unfortunately, based on a comment made by Jake on Instagram a few days after the sketch aired, it does not seem like he finds the joke particularly amusing. Paul wrote, quote, "LOL at NBC SNL, got jokes. This was funny, Pete, but I'm still slapping you when I see you next." Would you be afraid, Mike?
No, dude, because Pete Davidson definitely has a bodyguard. And I'd be like, oh, this is going to be great. I will let you slap me so I can watch my bodyguard destroy you. You know what I mean?
This beef between Jake and Pete's not new. During an interview back in April, Pete criticized Jake Paul, claiming the fight shows how low boxing has sunk. This was right before his fight with Ben Askren.
Ben Askren looked like a fat dad. That's first.
Wow.
This is why the fight was so fun. First of all, like Ben Askren walks out, right? And like, you know, when people walk out for a fight, like Mike Tyson, when he walked out for a fight, the hot boys went in front of him and rapped in front of him. Tyson Fury in this last fight where he had with Deontay Wilder, he had like an orchestra of people in front of him that it looked like a Roman Coliseum, and he was coming in as a gladiator. Ben Askren, when he fought Jake Paul, he had a dude walk out with a piece of cardboard and said, "This is Ben." And the dude was just like wearing jeans and a collared shirt. And you could tell he was completely unimpressed by anyone there.
Jeez.
Dude, it was so funny. And he walked out there, and Ben Askren didn't think he could fight. He got knocked out. He's like, I guess he could fight. But he got paid $1 million, so he didn't care. He's like, I don't want to be famous. I just want to run my wrestling school. He's like, it sucks because all these kids are staying up late to watch this, but I'm going to knock this dude out.
Jake Paul actually knocked him out?
Knock him clean out, bro.
Ooh, okay. Now, here's the other part, too. Jake Paul saying that Davidson, quote, won't ever be a part of one of his boxing events again.
Dude, he's such a sissy, that Jake Paul. He acts like a spoiled high school student. Jake Paul brought in all that money. All that pay-per-view money was because of Jake Paul, because everybody wanted to see him get beat. And him essentially sponsoring the entire event. Then Pete Davidson goes backstage on his event and tells the other guy,
"Why don't you like Jake? Just because he's a douche?"
Well, I mean, do you have an hour? I mean,
yeah, let's go. Let's shoot. I do.
I mean, he's not a good person. He's clearly, is not a good influence on any of the youth culture.
That's true.
He kind of has this whole following, so he thinks he can kind of do whatever he wants. And didn't he get busted by the feds with AKs and a bunch of machine guns? Why isn't he in jail?
But I still would like to see Pete Davidson's bodyguard just beat the crap out of Jake Paul. Just be like, hey man, surprise! I'll show up with Suge Knight and gangsters, dude. Because they like him. Everybody likes Pete Davidson.
Yeah, he's got a team of dudes ready, I'm sure.
I would show up with the Booyah tribe and just be like,
ooh,
who said who are you gonna slap?
Well, what are you doing?
Fellas, come over here. I want to introduce you to my friend Pete, or my friend Jacob. These are my friends. And dude, I will roll so deep that no matter how deep he was, they push his security back.
Would you pay to see, these Jake Paul fights, have you paid to see one, or Logan Paul?
I'll plead the fifth on that one.
We should probably leave it at that.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for this
midday getaway.